Are you looking for a coach who has gone through her own weight loss, PCOS, ADHD, digestive health issues? I've got one for you. And that is our coach, Liz. So if you're ready to listen up and lean in, join us on our conversation together to better get to know her. And let's see how she got to the coaching world and why she works with our group. We are so excited to have her. So everybody, please welcome Coach Liz to the pod. Yay. Coach Liz. Yay. Okay. Let's have you introduce yourself a little bit. Talk about where you come from, all the good things that we know, that I know as a coach and Christina knows, but that our audience needs to know about you because you are so important to our business and to what we do to help women thrive and succeed.
Well, I'm Coach Liz. I have PCOS, raging ADHD. I come from a really big, half Filipino, half Irish, Italian family. So my family is huge, and all of us are overweight.
Really?
And don't handle any other things, and all of us are in either the military or the medical field. So hilarious. I am married to somebody in the military. I have 900 animals, not really, but I have a horse, dogs, all of that fun stuff. Yeah, I've lost over 160 pounds. And let's see, I started my journey in, I think 2014. And I started it because I was going through a divorce and I wanted to glow up.
So let me ask that because I think that's important for our audience to hear. Because a lot of times I'll see the coaches got it down perfectly, that, they've had this life of luxury of essentially of health and fitness, which if you've listened to Christina and I, is not true. I dealt with my own visualization of what my body should look like, orthorexia and restrictive eating. You've got a huge weight loss accomplishment and have succeeded in keeping that weight off. So let's go back to that time. So we were struggling with a divorce, struggling just with life in general, because usually it's not just a divorce, right? It's pretty hard. So what were you doing in terms of your health, in terms of exercise and nutrition at that time? Were you even doing that, or that's what kind of catapulted you into this world?
No. So my relationship with my ex-husband was a lot of, we ate Costco pizza all the time and we drank beer.
Okay.
And that was it. That was our jam. I didn't have any sense of what protein was or even what a macro was. Never even thought about it. The only year I first started trying to get healthy because we were trying to get pregnant and stuff and through the doctors and stuff. And I was I bet I can do this without having to spend thousands of dollars on, help from a physician. Live.
Did you know you had PCOS at that time too?
No.
Okay.
I didn't find out until I was 25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was I fought tooth and nail to just get a freaking ultrasound. Every doctor was here, just take Clomid. Here.
Okay.
Let's go get on birth control and figure that out.
Yeah.
But no, my relationship with exercise, movement, nothing. I don't even think that I hit maybe 1,000 steps in a day.
Really?
Yeah. I was a couch potato. Look that up on the dictionary, Liz in 2000.
You probably look sexy though.
But yeah, and honestly, my life turning upside down and having to restart, I was okay, I can do things differently. And I think that, people that aren't even going through a divorce, just moving into a new home, it is such a great opportunity to truly structure the life that you want. Truly visualize it, truly make things happen. And that's what I did. I was no, I don't want this for myself. I'm going to start, I was bored. I didn't have anybody to drink with anymore. So guess who went on walks by herself?
Really?
Those are things that I started to do and just use it as my therapy time. So that's kind of how I started.
So it became, what made you decide to go for walks instead of being I think I'll just go to the bar instead? Because both would have a therapy situation, depending on how someone, what led you down the exercise portion or the nutrition portion? Was it just how you felt in your body or how you saw yourself?
Definitely one, how I felt, but I think the biggest driving factor is I was broke.
Wow. You're so I'm not going to the bar
anymore. Yeah. I couldn't afford to go out to McDonald's 3 times a day or anything.
Yeah.
I had to do things that truly like financially worked for me. And
Uh-huh.
you know, like that life change was something that, one, I cried a lot and I was
Oh, of
like, oh
course.
my gosh, like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I spending every waking second hating myself? Why
Yeah.
am I spending every waking second just, wishing I could just commit to something?
Uh-huh.
Growing up and like throughout all the years, I always wanted to change my body. I wanted
Okay.
to look like X, Y, and Z or have physique goals and stuff, but I never could commit to it.
Mhm.
And it was just a lot of tough love. And also being broke helped me.
Yeah. Was your family active growing up, or this was
Oh,
something that you no, so
oh,
you
no.
took this on your own?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. So we started going for walks. Tell us about like the journey into fitness and nutrition that you had essentially leading up to like a career in coaching. What did that look like?
So I was a respiratory therapist at the
Okay.
time, and I was working in a hospital. I would see a lot of people that just haven't been healthy their whole life.
Mhm.
One, I went from working on, we called them the floors, where, I was just getting, doing breathing treatments for
Mhm.
people and then like going about my business, sitting on the couch in between. To, I was transferred over into, being on like our trauma or our rapid response team. You have to run, like not really run, but you have to like
Pick up your pace.
up some stairs.
Yeah, get going.
Imagine somebody that is 160 plus pounds overweight
Uh-huh.
and you are having quite literally a medical emergency and you need the trauma RT and she can't get to you because she's quite literally trying to suck in air on the third step of the stairs.
Okay.
Just picture that.
Yeah.
Now, that was me. And I decided, like, okay, hey, this took way too long for me to get to this patient. This took way, like, quite literally, I had conversations with my managers about
Oh,
this
really?
because
You brought it to them or they brought it to you?
they brought it to me. And then it
Okay.
was like this mutual thing, like, hey, I'm struggling. Like, I started hating my job because I was like, I can't perform in this way.
Right.
And so um we had like a dietitian on like that we had access to, so I started like going to them, and that's when I just started kind of like, okay, I'm gonna really like, we got points for like our insurance and stuff and like
Oh.
discounts and stuff for us, you know going to see the doctor, getting our lab work done. That was like a huge eye opener. I'm like, I've never seen my labs, I've never wanted to learn about it. So that truly like got me going into, okay, hey, what can I do to improve this?
Mhm.
And started seeing our dietitian. From there, I started like just focusing on like balanced plates, things like that. I started weight just like melting off. I think, and when you're that big, it's a little bit easier to see quicker fat loss,
Mhm.
because going from 0 to even 50% is crazy.
Right.
So I started losing a ton of weight, and then I was like, okay, cool, like let's start going to the gym. That's when CrossFit started getting really
Oh, no. Yeah.
full send. I was like, what? And I'm competitive,
Yep.
so CrossFit was my jam. And I hired, then like after my 6 months was over with that dietitian, I hired an online coach,
Okay.
and it was awful. It was awful. The amount of like how miserable I was, and like it was definitely like old school bro lifting coach.
So was
But
it more lift like was the coach a trainer or like a nutrition or both?
both. So it
Okay.
was, and again, like at
Visible.
this time, that was when like it was all bodybuilding coaches online, and they were
Yeah.
like $40 a month, like
Yeah.
nothing's custom. And they specifically tell you like, okay, hey, this is honestly where chicken and broccoli and rice gets a bad rap because that's
Uh-huh.
all they fed you.
Really?
It sucked.
How did
Um,
you decide to hire this coach? Like what just because that was what
he
you
was,
had available with the limited knowledge?
yeah, he
Yeah.
was he was jacked, and I was like, cool, I want to be.
Sweet. I'd fuck.
That's exactly it. So I'm
Yeah.
buy your plan, boo.
Yeah.
It was miserable. I hated it. And then I was like, nope, I'm gonna go back to learning. I'm
Okay.
like professional student. Um, Decided to start like taking online courses and stuff just to
Uh-huh.
learn for myself. Between that time, I learned I had PCOS and stuff, and nobody knew. There was like, oh, cool, you have cysts on your ovaries. Take birth control. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. This sucks. I don't like
Uh-huh.
birth control for me. And that's kind of how I got into becoming a coach, is I just started learning, and then people were asking me questions of like, hey, how'd you do that? Hey, like,
So then
how
you became the educator.
exactly?
Can
And then
you, for
went
our
back.
audience, list out the education that you have? Because it's pretty extensive, but it not only that, it's really impressive.
Yeah. So I actually have my bachelor's in nutritional science. I
Okay.
have my minor in psychology on top of my bachelor's in respiratory therapy.
Okay.
I have to go back to school. Did not. 10 out of 10 done. I have my CPT through 3 different companies, but they're all specific in something else. So one is specifically for online coaching and all of that stuff. I have one just through NASM, which is more bodybuilding-esque,
Mhm.
and then I have my precision nutrition.
Okay.
I have trauma-informed weightlifting. I'm Olympic weightlifting coach. I'm a CrossFit level 2 coach. I am a functional nutrition coach. I've taken, got honest truth, I've taken Scuba University. I've taken functional nutrition certifications. I've done menopause. I've done all of like the Girls Gone Strong
Okay. Yeah.
certifications. So I've done like the pre and postnatal,
Uh-huh.
the women's coach, the menopause one. What else? I know there's a lot
That's
more.
we'll wrap it up there because I think that gives the
There's a
extent
few
of your
more.
education. So tell me, so we're into this, we start getting the certifications, we start educating other people. You're starting to think like, I think I could do this. Are you still doing respiratory therapy at the time?
At first I was. I
Uh-huh.
didn't stop doing respiratory therapy until the end of 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're juggling
So
both.
yeah, I started slowly like going into like per diem as a respiratory therapist and started coaching at a gym. So I started just doing CrossFit coaching, and then that's when I got into Olympic weightlifting, and then started coaching from there
Okay.
and doing like nutrition challenges with
Yeah.
people. And honestly, like me coaching online kicked off with COVID.
Oh, really?
Everything kind of went online. I didn't like, it was just so much easier.
Uh-huh.
I was already in that space, and everybody was like, hey, I still want help. Everybody wanted to get like healthy and fit
Right.
while they're stuck at home. So that's kind of when I started being an online coach.
Perfect. So where would you say a majority of your clients now fall into? Like what types of clients tend to gravitate towards you?
People, mostly women,
Yeah.
mostly women with like hormone disruptions, people with gut issues,
Uh-huh.
lots of people with autoimmune disorders. I think that I tend to attract people that have been kind of burned by our medical system and
Yeah.
don't feel heard. People that have been burned by other fitness coaches because, again, they're not heard. They don't
Mhm.
understand what they're going through. And I've been there. So I'm
Yeah.
somebody that they can relate to, and like, I've struggled, but also I know how to get out of that
Right.
struggle. So that's typically who I work with.
And so what do you tend to see? Like what are, let's go into hormones and PCOS and then let's go into gut health because I'm curious for both. And so for the audience listening, these are not my areas of specialty. So for if I were to get someone who's inquiring, I would be like, you would be better suited with Liz because I have know nothing about SIBO, TIBO, or whatever bow it is. And usually what we can do sometimes is collaborate, but for the most part, she's got the education on it. So when we're talking about PCOS and like hormone health, how do those issues play a role? Like how do you, one, what symptoms do you see or tend to like general trend, right? Because everybody's going to be individual. And then what adaptations or we'll say changes or recommendations do you make to like the nutrition and exercise portion when you're working with those clients?
So a lot of what I see, especially with like my PCOS ladies, is
Uh-huh.
so much fatigue.
Really?
So much fatigue. Like
Why is
they,
that?
one, their hormones are completely disrupted, but
Okay.
also, they have insulin resistance. Their body's just not processing things properly, and so they're tired.
Okay.
Boo-boo's colored. And like they could probably, and I get like this sometimes when I'm more like inflamed and I'm eating foods that are more inflammatory to me, when I am just in like this chronic state of stress, like your body is just so much more sensitive to that, and it acts very dramatic. And that's the best way that I can put it, is that a normal stressor for somebody where they can just be like, okay, I'm going to take like a few deep breaths and I can go about my day. I'm probably stuck on my bed crying for a little bit and then taking a little nappy nap.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could have people that just kind of get an amazing night of sleep and just wake up and they're like, I can't do this.
Right.
I'm tired. I also see, you know, extreme cravings, you know, where cool, all that will quite literally satisfy my hunger right now is a bag of potato chips.
Really?
Or, you know, a whole bucket of ice cream. And yet still not be satisfied. And that has a lot to do with, I see a lot, and I tie a lot of everything, and I tell people all the time, I will literally die on this hill. Your insulin resistance is key to solving 99% of the things, because we have your insulin resistance, that's going to cause lots of cravings, lots of gut issues, because if we don't have a very diverse gut microbiome, we're going to cause things like SIBO or H. pylori, things like that in our gut, which again can cause, you know, issues with, you know, nutrition deficiencies, cause issues with just, again, hormones like testosterone, which can cause higher testosterone, higher androgens, which exacerbates everything with PCOS.
Interesting. So it's not just like, oftentimes what I'm hearing you say is it's not just a PCOS thing, it is a gut health thing, or vice versa too.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Same thing happens with, you know, Hashimoto's. If you take a look at it, 60% of women with PCOS have Hashimoto's.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you think about their lifestyle and things, and all of this, like people have the DNA in them that says like, okay, hey, you have this precursor to have PCOS. You have this precursor to have Hashimoto's. The factors in your life, the way that you eat, the way that you handle your stress, do you get in movement? Those things are what exacerbates those and make it show up in your life. So very much environmental things affect it.
Okay. And so then what would we do training and nutrition wise for it to help, I guess, supplement a deficiency?
I think, and I share this with quite literally everybody, eat balanced plates. So make sure you get in enough protein. Make sure, you know, I want 50% of your plate to be plants, so fruits and vegetables. I want a quarter of it being protein and a quarter of it being like your joy foods, because we can't not have your joy foods.
We don't need the whole bag of chips, but we can have some chippy chips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Movement wise, start with walking. Get outside, get some sun. You know, if we're exercising, don't full send it like I did. Maybe start with like 2 days a week with working out, you know, and you don't have to do CrossFit either.
Do you find, because of the PCOS and the, I would say, fluctuating of fatigue that they experience, that women have it challenging? Let's take the gal who did do CrossFit or does identify as like a Fitbit. Do you find that it's difficult for them to fluctuate their intensity of the workout based off of the symptoms that they're currently having?
Oh yeah. And you know, let's say you have high symptom day where you're very fatigued and you're like, man, this is a workout day. Like, get them some stretch, like do some like active yoga, do your walk. Don't try and push yourself, because it's not going to benefit you. It's going to be harder to recover. That's where I had issues in the beginning, is just I would full send it, and if I wasn't feeling sore or miserable,
it didn't count.
Exactly.
Yeah. You and I had that same. I would go and it was like, I better really injure this injury. Like I've got an injury and I need another, is pretty much what my body was doing. And so it wasn't fun. And then of course, under eating and just feeling completely depleted and drained, but I was committed to the process, because that's what you do, because you are committed and this is just your lifestyle. But I find, like, for me with the postpartum prenatal clients, the same thing as like, yeah, but now your whole like energy level has changed and your availability of it. And it's interesting because you don't really think about that with PCOS, or at least I didn't, But if your body's not taking in the nutrients, essentially your nutrients are for energy. And now they're depleted. So of course you feel fatigued because your body doesn't have any energy. And then we go and push the workout. Well, you're just draining the cup that is already empty.
Exactly.
I interrupt this episode to bring you our December promo, and this is our introductory offer on the Mindset Method Movement, our revamped group coaching program. This program is unlike any other group coaching program out on the market and is going to be priced so competitively because we want everyone to take advantage of this. In our program, you will begin working from the inside out on your relationship with your body, food, and self-worth through the Mindset Method curriculum. In my Mindset of Matter app, every Monday, you will receive a reflection that will help you work through why you struggle with control over food, why your food noise is so loud, why you hate the image you see in the mirror. Then from there, you get to take the information that you've learned and bring it to one of 2 coaching calls per week. Yes, per week. And for those who sign up now, you'll be working directly with me. So you get to process all of that stuff with yours truly. You'll also get access to our on-demand training program that includes gym, at-home, time crunch, body weight, and core workouts that change every single month and all build on each other to basically create the body of your dreams. You will get custom nutrition coaching from one of my expert coaches, depending on your specific needs, whether that's autoimmune issues, peri-post menopause, prenatal or postnatal, or general nutrition. We have someone here at the Mindset That Matter for you. And last but not least, you will have access to an amazing community of like-minded individuals who are looking to do something different in regards to changing their relationship with themselves mentally and physically. And for this introductory offer, we are offering our group coaching program for $275 a month with a 30-day cancellation notice. This is literally the same price that other coaching programs charge just for nutrition coaching. And if you sign up in December, you will be moved right into our Winter Wellness Challenge. You're going to jump right in, and we're going to do that at no additional cost. So you can start working with us today at no additional costs. So if you're ready to change your relationship with yourself through your mindset, through your movement, through your nutrition, check out the show notes below for more information. Now, back to the show.
I also when people kind of go full send, I'll ask them are you training for something?
Really?
Because in all honesty, I tend to ask people, okay, who's your inspiration? What is your inspiration? What is your goal? Because we all have that idea in our head of I want this. Mine, Kelsey Keels, 1000%. She's amazing. She used to work at a CrossFit gym in town. I used to work with her. She's amazing. But she was my ideal body type. She's a games athlete. I'm not trying to get to the games.
You're like, bitch, I just lost 100+ pounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have no need to be working out as much as her.
I totally know.
No need of doing that. And I think that people go into this and being full send, I want to be this person. Well, you're not them. Your life's not that. You're not trying to go to the games. You're not trying to be an Olympic athlete. So let's dial it back.
So even let's go back to the gut health. I know we kind of combined those a little bit with PCOS, but with the gut health, let me change the question because you had essentially answered the original question of if there's not nutrients being absorbed, we're going to have a lot of fatigue. So with the gut health, what common things do you see that people that would, I guess, give you a red flag that we've got something going on that is something with your gut?
Excessive bloating.
Okay.
Having, acid
at any time of the day or just whenever?
Normally after you eat.
Okay.
If you're hey, I'm uncomfortable after I eat and it hurts and or you get full super quick. Yeah. That's normally major red flags. Acid reflux. If you have diarrhea or constipation, that's normally hey, if we have diarrhea, food's not sitting in our stomach long enough for us to actually process it. Right. Also higher stress. My ladies who work all the time, don't know how to handle their stress, guarantee you they have low stomach acid and they constantly feel bloated and full. Really? Our body's reaction.
Why the stomach acid? Just that's the way it goes?
Yeah.
Compensation.
That's how it goes. And I that's where I tend to start. Everything that I do is from the bottom up. And if we're seeing digestive issues, oh man, Liz, I'm bloated all the time. Oh man, Liz, I don't have normal BMs. Like I'll show them like the Bristol scale.
Yeah. I love the Bristol scale.
I do too. So they'll tell me on that. And I'm like, oh, that's not normal. So then I'll be like, cool. Like, do you burp? Do you have lots of gas? Is your BMs like super freaking stinky? Is your breath smell? Like those little, I shouldn't say little things, but they're things that people will just like pass off and be like, oh, this is just gas. Oh, I just had spicy food. Well, if it's happening all the time, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And when you think about where nutrients start is one, we want to make sure that we're chewing our food completely, taking our time when we eat, not being distracted. That's a huge thing. So many people just kind of stuff their face as quick as they can and go. Then I look at stomach acid. And if you think about it this way, if we don't have enough stomach acid in our stomach, it's kind of like throwing whole pieces of food in a blender and hoping for the best for like this amazing smoothie. Like it's not going to blend up properly. It's the same thing with our guts. If we don't have enough stomach acid, if we don't chew our food enough, it's not going to process properly. And then if things don't process properly, we have issues with our liver. We have issues with like quite literally everything, including our immune system.
So meaning like they tend to get more sick often or something? Really? Yeah. And so what is something like at home, because you see a lot of like gut, like the audience already probably knows this answer for me, but like heal your gut stuff, or like take these prebiotics or probiotics, or do this gut test, and then we'll send you these medications or these supplements. What are your thoughts on those kinds of things and promotions?
I am so like anti-supplements.
Okay.
Unless you absolutely need it. Like if I have somebody that like we've tried all the things, because I will quite literally try all the things first.
What would be like all the things?
So one, handling like setting aside time for you to actually eat and actually chew your food and take your time. Like I literally put your food down, put your fork down in between every single bite, chew it until it is literally liquid, and then swallow it, my friends. Then we'll test your stomach acid. So I have them doing their baking soda test and tell me how long it takes until they burp. And then if normally, like I just had somebody, she's like, oh, it took me 20 minutes to burp. And I'm like, really low.
How long would what's like the usual time you want them to burp?
Under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. And she took
ideally under a minute. I would like you to drink your baking soda water mixture and like burp.
Oh my gosh. So
then from there, like we'll do apple cider vinegar for breakfast and lunch, or breakfast and dinner. And normally that fixes things. We'll do that for like a month. And normally my ladies are good. And they're like, oh, this is so weird. Like, how come my stomach doesn't hurt anymore? Like, because we fixed your stomach acid. And then after that, we'll go into like doing like HCl supplements. We'll go into.
What's an HCl supplement?
It just kind of helps build up your stomach acid.
Okay.
So yeah. It's a little bit more aggressive than apple cider vinegar. So yeah, there's other natural ways that we can do it besides those two, but those tend to be just my path that I tend to take. After that, if they're still having issues, I'll kind of like send them a questionnaire and being like, asking a little bit more detail about like, cool, like, do you have like mucus in your BMs? What does your breath smell like? Things like that. Then we'll have that conversation of, okay, hey, we can do this or we can keep on this path. And it's normally like, do you want to do a GI map? I love GI maps. They're amazing. I learn a lot about people in GI maps. And then from there, if we see things that actually need supplements, then we'll do that.
Okay. So it's interesting because we did the podcast with the naturopaths the other week, and they were talking about like, don't just be popping supplements. But I feel like a lot of people are, similar to like you were talking about with hospital systems and our pharmaceutical and our medical systems, is like, here's the solution to what you're feeling right now. And what you're trying to say is, yeah, no, the solution is to figure out where the breakdown is happening instead of just sugarcoating it. Like, okay, yeah, if you're taking an antacid and you can have the spicy food, we're missing the point of why I need to take the antacid every time. So, okay, very interesting. Anything else you want to add about your specialties that you find interesting or want the audience to know and share?
No, I don't think so. But also with the supplements, same thing
Uh-huh.
goes for like my ladies with PCOS.
Oh, go
So,
riff.
like, oh my, I feel like that population is just they get taken advantage of. And them trying to find answers and just being so desperate, because I feel like people with PCOS, hormone issues, they just feel so defeated that they'll quite literally do anything. And sometimes a quick fix is like super sexy.
What would be like a quick fix for those that they tend to take?
Like, I'm probably gonna butcher how to say this, but like berberine.
Oh, berberine. Yeah.
Taking any kind of like weight loss medication, or even just like not doing their research on like inositol and stuff, and having like the correct split. Like the amount of people that are like in my DMs are like, Liz, what do you think about this TikTok PCOS girlies inositol? I'm like, first off, not enough myo-inositol to decryo-inositol ratio. You would literally have to quadruple what you take for it to actually be effective. And two, do you know why you're taking this?
No, they have no idea.
No, but it's labeled PCOS.
Yeah.
And there's lots of like, I even see dietitians that push their own like brand, and I'll actually look at their ingredients and I'm like, this sucks.
Really?
Like, this isn't a good ratio. Like, this doesn't have like enough of it. And it says, oh, only take like one pill once a day. And I'm like, in reality, if you look at it and just buy one that's quite literally the same price, you would get something that actually works and is good for you.
Jeez.
So it's crazy.
That's unfortunate. I want to pivot a little bit and go back to you and your weight loss, because what you've done is amazing, right? And I know you get praised for that all the time, and you're probably like, yeah, but there's going to be somebody listening who identifies with what you're feeling, going through. Maybe the catalyst for them isn't a divorce and a different situation of living, but they feel how you did in your body at that time. When you have somebody like that and you can identify with them, what recommendation or suggestion or measure of progress do you recommend for someone that just feels like it's such a big mountain to climb that it's not worth it?
I live by 1% better.
Okay.
I freaking live by it. And I know all of us pretty much do. Like, that's how we see progress in our clients and stuff. But going back to me at my heaviest self. So I used to live in Spokane, Washington, and there is this little hike to like these waterfalls that my friends wanted to go to. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. I couldn't make it up the first flight.
Okay.
Went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this until I can keep going. Your progress is still progress, even if getting up that flight of stairs is just one more step than what you did last week. If it is, half of a step, if it is just you getting to the gym and, signing up, or if it is you purchasing dumbbells on Amazon to get delivered to your house, that is progress. I spent a lot of my time journaling and reflecting, and even like romanticizing the life that I wanted, and just being like, this is what I want. I deserve this. I am special, and it's okay. And I come from a place of, I'm not good enough. I'm not special enough. I won't ever have these things. I won't have that transformation or anything, because I'm not anybody special. I'm Liz. That's it. I'm not TikTok famous. I'm not Instagram famous or anything. So truly believe that, like, I want all those ladies to feel like they are special and that they can have that, because they can, and celebrate those small things. I had a psychology professor, my first year, like psychology 101, will never forget him. He said some very like obscure things, which will forever stick in my head. I'm like, maybe some of that advice I should have listened to. But one of them, every single time we had a midterm or a final exam, whatever it may be, and I took his classes all throughout the rest of my years. Wasn't going to be in psychology or anything like that, but I wanted to be in his class. He would tell us, there will be questions that you don't know. There's going to be times where you feel like you failed, but there's going to be times that you're going to automatically look at that answer or that question and just know the answer like that. And I want you to pause for a second. And I want you to literally have a party in your head about it. I want you to celebrate that win. And that's honestly how I tell all of my clients to celebrate. Hey, you ate protein with breakfast? Hell yeah, have that little party in your head. If you want to message me, have that little party. I want to freaking celebrate you. Because at the end, that is quite literally going to make you stronger. It's going to make you smarter. It's going to make you more successful by celebrating those wins rather than, you get stuck on a question. You're like, damn, Liz, you're dumb. How you should have known this.
Right.
Yeah, celebrate that win, not that. Just move on past the answer or the question that you don't know. So
creating essentially what we teach with our clients, and you do too, is celebrate the small win. Like that you got to that second stair the next time you went. It's like, all right, that you didn't have to like get out of breath going to the next patient when it was an emergency.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to circle back to that. So then that brings me to my next question is, so we've got this background and the degree in psychology. We've got our own psychology that we've worked through and probably still continue to work through if you're similar to us. And now you find the Mindset of Matter coaching, or tell me what brought you to us and what interested you in joining the team.
Quite literally, you take a look at the nutrition and fitness space online, and there's quite literally nothing like this. I'm on threads on Instagram and stuff, and that's all you see on there is mindset things or coaches like pretending like kind of knowing mindset or being like, oh yeah. I ask people, how's your mindset this week? I'm like, that's not mindset.
Yeah. Like set your clothes out the night before. It's like, yeah, no, that's actually a lot harder for some people than just setting your clothes out.
Never. No, I could never. But what drew me to it is throughout my whole time of getting my bachelor's in nutritional science, kinesiology was actually going to be my minor and not psychology. But the more I dove into nutrition and all of like the sciencey stuff with it, I was like, the one thing that's always missing is the psychology part of it. And I always got drawn to things like, are there foods that cause like ADHD? Like what, because I was looking at like myself being 30 years old, or 20 something at the time, being like, why are all these people my age and slightly older all of a sudden getting diagnosed with ADHD? What did our childhood, what does all of like our eating look like? People with PCOS. Like I started looking at those things, looking at people that are very sick. Because again, going into college, studying for nutrition, we are more like hospital based, like the dietitian.
Oh, okay.
And so I hated every second of it. I loved learning the more of the psychology side of things and like, hey, what does trauma have to do with the way that our body is reacting or like digesting food and stuff? That's what made me like, oh shit, like this is cool. Also thinking about like, hey, the population that actually coaches people, because I part of like my clinical rotations, I worked in a disordered eating clinic.
Oh, okay.
College, which is really cool. Like it was something that I was seeing the dietitian there because I wanted to learn more. They're very much like the anti-diet culture there. And so it was very interesting seeing like how many people that were showing up with signs of disordered eating were fitness coaches and stuff. And it's a way for them to control food and exercise. And I was like, man, that stuck to me. And I was like, well, what's psychologically behind it?
Yeah.
Like, what aren't we dealing with that's forcing them into this area? Still being unhappy. And so that's honestly what drew me. And I know one of Christina's really good friends, and she showed me Christina, and I was literally been stalking you guys for forever. Like I have like close to from the very beginning, like saved post, save post. And would like write notes on your guys' like things. And I'm like, I love this.
So it was that. And then you met. Did you contact her? I think she contacted you, right? Because of that mutual friend.
I
recall.
I don't remember.
Either way.
She reached out to me once about a client that she had with PCOS. And then like a few months later, I was like, hi.
Hey.
You guys hiring?
Remember that free information I gave you? I would like to cash that check in.
Boo Boo needs a home.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. So yeah, I think what you're saying is the program combined your education and your beliefs and your values and was exactly what you were wanting to offer your clients too. And I think all 4 of us that are, because Christina's the owner, but the 4 of us coaches can resonate with that of like, okay, I know there's something else that I'm supposed to be offering here, but I just need a structure of that and have her design it in a way that makes it planned and cohesive.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful. So as we're starting to wrap up, what is one thing that you would tell listeners, like just one takeaway that you would be like, be aware of this? Maybe it's a mindset thing. Maybe it's like, hey, just go for a walk, like an exercise thing, a nutrition thing, but something that you tend to always circle back to.
Mine is journaling.
Okay.
I'm a huge journaler, and it's not like in a fancy notebook or anything. It's in my notes on my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like thousands of them. I should probably start deleting things, but just start journaling, figuring out like what's working, what's not working. Don't try and do those quick fixes or anything like that. Like start with picturing what you want your life to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I always use a version like 2.0 you. Like, what does that person do? What does 2.0 you do? And then just start slowly doing those things. Yeah. Like, I still have mine. 2.0 me, like, crushes 10K steps every single day. Easy peasy. 2.0 me goes to the gym at least 3 times a day. 2.0 me has protein
3 times a day, a week.
Huh?
You said 3 times. I was like, hang on. I thought we solved that, Liz. Are you okay?
3 workouts a week.
There we go.
I mean, no.
I know. It's like,
okay,
we should not be coaching our clients.
Right? Liz, no, this is unhealthy.
Yeah.
And 2.0 me journals every single day. She's very thankful, even on days where she doesn't want to be thankful for things. So start with journaling. So
finding almost the small win too.
Exactly. Doing that 1%.
Where can people find you? Where can they save your tags and your follows and your posts? So I am on Instagram at pcos.coach.lizzy. Okay. And yeah, is it Lizzy? Yeah, Lizzy. We'll have that tagged in the show notes too for people to follow you. Perfect. Anything else you want to add for the audience? No, just thank you for letting me be here. I'm super excited. I know. That's why I was like, we have to get these girls on so they can share their message and what they do, because you all provide such a service to our clients and provide something that, like I can't offer, Christina can't offer, Laura can't offer, Desley can't offer. Like, you've got your own thing and each of them has their own thing. And we want to make sure that people are matched with the best person that's going to help them. And so we learn off of each other. We what? We learn off of each other. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, hello, I just learned like a bunch about PCOS and gut health. And I'm like, oh, okay. That sounds important. We should probably know that. I know. I was telling one of my clients about you and I'm like, here, just follow her. She's got a baby in her belly. Okay. Well, if you are interested in working with Coach Liz, follow the Clarity Call link in the show notes below. If you have questions or for her, please reach out to her directly. She is a wealth source of information. And if there's one thing that you took away from this podcast today, it is what you say in the mind, you see in the mirror.